Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. Silence is not the absence of strength. It is the evidence of it. In a world that glorifies noise, applause, and constant validation, the one who learns to be silent is often the one who's already won half the battle. You don't have to raise your voice to prove your point. You don't need to fight every battle or answer every critic. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing and keep moving. You see, there's a quietness that comes when your confidence no longer depends on the opinions of others. When you know who you are, you stop needing to be seen. You stop needing to explain yourself, defend yourself, or seek applause. You're not staying silent because you're afraid. You're staying silent because your focus is too precious to be wasted on noise. And make no mistake, not all battles are worth fighting. Not every voice deserves a response. Some arguments are just traps set to pull you away from your assignment. There was a time I used to believe that silence made me appear weak. I thought that if I didn't speak up, if I didn't correct every misunderstanding, that somehow I was giving away my power. But the truth is, it takes more strength to hold your peace than it does to fight with fools. The strong don't need to speak to be heard. Their life becomes the message. Their work, their progress, their peace, it speaks for them. Silence is not just something you do. It's a posture of trust. When you stay silent, you're saying, God, I trust you to vindicate me. I trust you to handle what I cannot. And He will. Sometimes the reason the door hasn't opened yet, or the reason the breakthrough seems delayed, is because you're still trying to fight battles that aren't yours to fight. You're still trying to control outcomes with your words when what you really need is surrender. God doesn't need your defense. He needs your faith. When Jesus stood before His accusers, He didn't argue. He didn't scream. He didn't justify Himself. He stood in silence because He knew the truth didn't need to be shouted. That silence was not weakness. It was power under control. That silence wasn't retreat. It was authority. And in your life, there will be times when you are misunderstood, misjudged, underestimated. Let them. Your silence in those moments isn't silence at all. It's a statement that you are grounded, anchored, and unmoved. The people who shout the loudest often are the ones looking for something they don't yet have, validation, relevance, worth. But when you know you're walking in purpose, you don't chase after acknowledgement. You let your consistency do the talking. You let your results make the noise. The tree doesn't need to explain how tall it's growing. It just keeps reaching. And one day, the same people who ignored the seed will have no choice but to notice the fruit. Staying silent isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about mastering your spirit. You've got to get to a place where your peace cannot be stolen just because someone else is having a bad day. You've got to mature to the point where people's opinions don't interrupt your progress. And listen to me. When the enemy can't destroy you, he'll try to distract you. He'll send confusion, offense, pointless debates, anything to pull you out of alignment. But when you stay silent, when you hold your focus, when you refuse to play the game, you win every time. Don't waste your energy proving to people what God already spoke over your life. Let them think what they want. Let them say what they will. You keep building. You keep showing up. You keep doing the work in silence. And the time will come when your breakthrough will speak louder than your defense ever could. Stay grounded, stay focused, stay silent, and watch what happens. There is a kind of growth that only happens in silence, away from the noise, away from the crowd, away from the pressure to perform. We live in a world that convinces us we need to always be seen to matter, always be heard to be relevant. But there is a deeper work that God does in the unseen places of your life. That's where transformation begins. Not on the stage, not in the spotlight, but in the quiet corners of your soul where nobody's watching and nothing is applauding. Some of the most powerful seasons of your life will feel lonely, not because you're unloved, but because you're being separated. And separation isn't rejection, it's preparation. God often isolates before He elevates. He pulls you aside, not to punish you, but to process you, to show you who you are without the noise, to teach you how to be whole without needing a crowd to clap for you. Growth requires stillness, requires discipline, and yes, sometimes it requires you to walk alone. Think about the seed. Before it becomes anything, It has to go underground, hidden unseen. It has to break in the dark before it can rise in the light. Nobody celebrates the seed when it's buried. There's no applause for the breaking, but it's necessary. That isolation is not abandonment. It's divine development. And in your life, there will be seasons where God buries you, not to forget you, but to prepare you, to strengthen your roots before he ever allows you to bloom. People may not understand what you're doing. They might say you've changed. They might think you're being distant, cold, or different. Let them think what they want. You are not here to explain your process. You're here to protect it. Because when you're building something real within yourself, you don't have time to be everywhere and please everyone. You're not available to distractions. When you're committed to your destiny, you've got to learn to embrace those silent seasons where it feels like nothing's moving, where it feels like your prayers are echoing back to you, because those are the seasons where God is doing his deepest work. He's pruning your heart, healing your wounds, building your character. You may not see it yet, but you'll feel it later when you start walking in rooms with a quiet confidence, when you no longer depend on attention to feel valuable, when you no longer seek love from places that only drained you. That's the fruit of private growth. That's the power of silence. You see, the most dangerous person is the one who grew in silence, the one who went through hell and never broadcasted their pain, the one who learned how to pray through it, work through it, heal through it, the one who didn't need an audience to validate their worth. Because when you come out of that, you're different. You walk differently, you speak differently, you think differently. You're no longer impressed by surface level things. You're not moved by drama, noise, or chaos. You've seen too much. You've overcome too much. That's the kind of strength silence builds, an unshakable, quiet strength that doesn't need to prove anything. You just are. And in a world that screams for attention, be the one who whispers with impact. Be the one who builds in silence, who moves in purpose, who grows in secret and lets God announce when it's time. Because when it's your time, you won't have to say a word. The fruit will speak. The peace will radiate. The elevation will make the noise. So if you're in a silent season right now, don't resent it. Embrace it. Protect it. Use it. Let it refine you, restore you, rebuild you. Let it teach you how to love yourself without the crowd. Let it show you what matters when nobody's watching, because that's the version of you the world really needs. The one that's been tested in the fire, the one that grew in the dark, the one that learned to walk alone and still kept going. Your silence is sacred. Guard it, nurture it, master it. And when the time comes to speak, your words will carry the weight of all the battles you've won in silence, because growth doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like logging off. Sometimes it looks like walking away. Sometimes it looks like saying no. Sometimes it looks like resting, healing, praying, journaling, reflecting. Sometimes it looks like less, but it's actually more. And in that quiet, you're not shrinking. You're sharpening. You're shedding the layers that were never truly you. You're separating from the noise that kept you distracted. You're releasing what you were never meant to carry. You're becoming. Let people wonder. Let them speculate. Let them assume. You owe no one an explanation for your peace, your silence, your stillness. The people who truly know you won't need one. And the ones who demand one were never really for you. This is your reminder. Silence is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's strength under control. It's knowing when to speak and when to listen, when to move and when to be still. It's trusting that what's meant for you will find you, not because you shouted for it, but because you were aligned with it. Keep building. Keep growing. Keep healing in silence, because when the roots are deep, there's no reason to fear the wind. You're not missing out. You're preparing. You're not falling behind. You're being positioned. You're not forgotten. You're being fortified. Every quiet season has a purpose. Every silent battle builds strength. Every moment of stillness is God doing work behind the scenes, clearing the path, aligning the pieces, pruning the distractions, and preparing you for what's next. So don't rush it. Don't resent it. Don't try to escape it. Lean into it. Let it teach you what noise never could. Let it grow in you what comfort never would. Let it introduce you to a version of yourself you've never met, the healed you the whole you, the focused you, the free you. And when the time comes, you'll emerge not just louder, but clearer. Not just seen, but known. Not just busy, but impactful. Because you didn't just grow, you evolved. And the world won't understand how you did it, but you will. In silence. Let's get real. You're wasting too much time explaining yourself, justifying why you're making changes, telling people what you're about to do, seeking approval, waiting for validation. And do you know what all that talking is doing? It's draining your energy. Everywhere you turn, there's noise. Social media feeds filled with other people's highlight reels, opinions from family, friends, and even strangers telling you what you should do with your life. The pressure to keep up, to stay relevant, to prove yourself. It's all a distraction. And most people don't even realize it's pulling them away from the very thing they need the most: focus. You wake up in the morning, and before you even have a second to think, you're bombarded with notifications. Someone's texting you. There's a new post going viral. Your inbox is full. You haven't even had a moment to breathe, and already your energy is being pulled in different directions. This is how most people live, reacting to everything around them instead of taking control. And the worst part, they wonder why they feel stuck, why they can't seem to make progress, why they start things but never finish them. It's because they've let distractions take over their lives. They're spending more time watching other people chase their dreams instead of chasing their own. They're caught up in drama, in comparisons, in meaningless conversations that add nothing to their growth. If you want to change your life, you have to cut out the noise. You have to stop letting distractions dictate where your energy goes. Because every single time you give your attention to something that doesn't serve you, you're stealing from yourself. You're stealing time that could be spent building your future. You're stealing focus that could be used to develop your skills, strengthen your mindset, and take action on your goals. Most people are addicted to distractions. They don't even realize it. But they're constantly seeking out things that pull them away from what actually matters. They scroll mindlessly. They overthink. They engage in conversations that drain them. They allow other people's opinions to take up space in their minds. And as a result, they never truly move forward. But the people who succeed, the ones who actually make something of their lives, they operate differently. They don't chase every new trend, every new opinion, every new drama that pops up. They know how to lock in, how to focus, how to protect their energy. They understand that every minute spent on a distraction is a minute stolen from their own potential. And that's the difference. The world is full of distractions, but you don't have to fall victim to them. You don't have to let them control you. You have the power to decide what you focus on. You have the power to say no. You have the power to shut off the noise and get to work. Think about where your energy has been going lately. Have you been giving it to things that push you forward, or have you been letting distractions steal your potential? Be honest with yourself, because once you recognize where your time and attention are going, you can start making better choices. You can start reclaiming your focus. And when you do that, everything changes. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You stop feeling stuck. You stop feeling like life is just happening to you. Instead, you take control. You create, you build, you grow, and most importantly, you move forward. The world isn't going to get any quieter. The distractions aren't going to disappear. But you can train yourself to tune them out. You can train yourself to stay focused on what actually matters. And when you do, you'll start seeing results. Not just small changes, but real transformation, because focus is power. And the moment you learn how to control yours, you become unstoppable. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power. In a world where everyone is constantly sharing, posting, proving, and defending themselves, choosing to stay silent is one of the most powerful things you can do. When you stop explaining yourself, when you stop justifying your actions to people who don't matter, when you stop seeking validation, you take back control over your life. Most people don't realize how much energy they waste trying to make others understand them. They feel the need to explain every move, justify every decision, and gain approval before taking action. But the truth is, the more you explain, the more you open yourself up to doubt, criticism, and unnecessary distractions. When you focus on yourself and stay silent, you eliminate the noise. You free yourself from the opinions that don't serve you. You stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to live your life. Staying silent doesn't mean you don't have a voice. It doesn't mean you don't stand up for yourself. It means you understand that your energy is valuable and you choose where to invest it. Some battles are not worth fighting. Some explanations are not worth giving. Some people will never understand you, no matter how much you try to make them see your vision. And that's okay. You don't need them to understand. You need to act. Think about the last time you told someone your big goals. Maybe you said you were going to start a business, change your career, work on your fitness, or set boundaries in your relationships. What happened? Did they encourage you, or did they plant seeds of doubt? Did they tell you how hard it would be, how unlikely it was, how maybe you should reconsider? That's the problem with talking too much. The more you share, the more room you give for others to project their fears onto you. People will doubt what they don't understand. They will question what is unfamiliar. And if you let their opinions sink into your mind, you'll start questioning yourself too. That's why silence is power. It keeps you in control. It allows you to work on yourself without interference. It protects your energy from unnecessary negativity. When you focus on yourself and stay silent, something incredible happens. You become more productive. You stop wasting time explaining and start using that time to take action. Instead of talking about your goals, you start making progress toward them. Instead of announcing your plans, you start executing them. And instead of seeking approval, you start building confidence from within. Most successful people didn't waste time announcing their every move. They just did the work. They let their results speak for them. They didn't argue with doubters. They just proved them wrong through action. And that's exactly what you need to do. Stop talking about it and start doing it. Stop explaining and start executing. Stop seeking approval and start trusting yourself. You don't need the world to clap for you. You need to clap for yourself. You need to believe in your vision even when no one else sees it. You need to stay focused even when it's lonely. You need to keep building even when the progress is slow. Because that's how transformation happens, in silence, in discipline, in focus. People might not understand your silence. They might think you've given up. Let them, while they're busy watching, talking, and guessing, you're evolving. You're growing. You're building a life that doesn't need defending because the results will speak for themselves. And when they finally see what you've created, they'll ask how you did it. They'll wonder when it happened. And you'll know it happened when you stopped talking and started acting. When you stopped seeking and started creating. When you stopped explaining and started believing. Remember this, you don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're leveling up. You don't have to justify your growth, your peace, your boundaries, or your transformation. The people who are meant to be in your life will respect your journey, even if they don't understand it. And the ones who don't, let them go. You're not here to live a life that makes sense to others. You're here to live a life that feels right for you. So protect your energy. Guard your focus. Respect your own journey. Don't waste your power on noise. Use it to build. Use it to grow. Use it to rise. Because the most powerful moves are made in silence. And the strongest people are the ones who don't need to be loud to make an impact. They let their results speak. They let their success shine. They let their discipline lead. Be that person. The one who stays focused. The one who protects their energy. The one who builds quietly and lets their life speak loudly.